Hey y'all, hey. I'm Jay.
I'm C.
And welcome to the JNC's room. Hey y'all, hey. Welcome back to our show. Thank you for clicking on us. Thank you for coming here to talk some stuff with us. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe
And like.
And
comment.
Yes, and also click on that bell so you get a notification when we upload our videos so that you can see as soon as
y'all some pretty people, so do pretty things.
Okay, so of course we come to talk about some stuff, and we want to talk about this whole catching flights and no feelings culture. Okay, but there's other parts to that also. People doing this and then not catching up with their bills. Before we get into that though, I just want to talk about this catching flights and no feelings culture. So apparently this is like a millennial thing. This is our anthem. We're millennials also. I don't know if you knew that. You're not like a baby boomer or anything. So we started this anthem, and it's really basically about choosing a life of no attachment, choosing a life of just traveling without and not really focusing on a relationship or any focus on your feelings at all. And this has been a while. There's rap songs about it. There's posts about it. You see people going all over the place, and that's their biggest thing. No feelings, none of that, or whatever the case is. It's like another way of saying I choose me. I choose me. What do you think about that?
So the topic is catching flights, catching no feelings, and catching flights and catching feelings, and how does that derive to paying bills?
Yeah, you catching up to your bills.
Okay, cool. Because I had to make sure I get the topic right. So, how do I feel about this culture? From what you said, I don't think that's all the culture. I think that from what I've derived, from what I hear and what I perceive of the culture, is more so like it's a momentary thing. Like maybe you in that moment where you can't find someone or you don't want to deal with someone, so you just on this path of let me just live my best life, go out of town, go out of the country, and chop it up and see what the world takes me. Or I go out of town with my homegirls, or if you're a dude, you go outside with your bros, you do your thing. I don't know if everyone is saying, I'm just going to live this lifestyle permanently. I don't know about that. So, I mean, if I ain't never heard that, but that's kind of funny.
I did like some type of research when I actually looked at blogs, and now there was different types of, that's why I said this culture has different aspects to it. So there's the aspect of it in the urban community where it's just like, oh, fuck niggas, fuck bitches, I'm gonna go with my peoples, we just gonna wild out, and it is a momentary thing. But you have another, people who it's deeper than just that. It's more of something triggered it in their life, some type of event where they couldn't deal with the feeling that the event caused, and what it pushed them to do was to leave, and was to catch flights to travel the world or whatever the case is, and find themselves, find the answer to whatever they are not getting in their place where they're at. You get what I mean? So there's different parts to it, to the part of how you balance that with your bills. Do I think that you should let your whole life fall to shambles while you're going off to go find yourself? No. Do I feel, because you, at the end of the day, you don't know, and I'll say from experience, you get what I mean? I've lived a very reckless life, so I can say from firsthand experience, not to the point where I allowed my life to go in shambles, but if a bill ain't get paid and I needed to go somewhere that I needed to go for my mental health, I definitely was someone that was about it. But of course I dealt with the consequence. Now but I know that there's people who do it to the extreme. And I feel like even though that doesn't make it better. I'm not saying that if it's to the extreme, it's worse than what I chose to do. Either way, you have to make sure that your life is together. You get what I mean? So
I think that's really vague.
What do you mean? Vague like how?
You said make sure your life is together.
So
if,
I mean,
if you dipping on a bill to go out of town, your life ain't together.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've said from my point to the extreme. I don't think I don't think either or is better than the other. You're fucking up on both.
So I don't think, from listening to what you said, I don't think going out of town is gonna help you find yourself.
Depends on who you are. Depends on your situation. Depends on the situation.
I think that you could find yourself in any situation. You could find yourself not traveling. You could find yourself anyway. If it takes you to leave out of town to spend money to help you find yourself, I mean, I'm not trying to say you got weak character, but I mean, I don't know how that's helping you find yourself. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just personally don't see how that's helping you find yourself. Because going out of town, you're in a different environment. You're not living the same way you necessarily might live at home. So if you're finding yourself out there, you're finding yourself technically on something that's not really consistent. Because you're doing that right now. That's not how it is every day for you. So that's just my perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, to catch a flight and all that jazz, like, I think people just need to work on themselves 100%. Catching a flight is not going to make you feel better about yourself. You might move away. You might have a moment of not dealing with your reality, but you're going to come right back to it. So I think that, you know, if you got situations where you're like, you need to deal with something, you know, I think therapy is a good look. I think confiding in people, seeking to better yourself at all times.
I think that I get what you're saying, but I do believe that you can find yourself on going away, taking a trip, taking some type of flight, because you never know what a person's situation is. Like, granted, you know, maybe it just seems like it's superficial, like you had a bad day and maybe that's why you need to catch a flight, or your heart is broken and that's why you need to catch a flight. But if somebody's living in turmoil, and who knows how they are, if they're living in turmoil and this flight or taking some time away from this turmoil so that they can clear their mind, so they can look at their situation from stepping out of the box, I think that's where that works. You know what I mean? And I've heard some people call traveling like an active meditation. And meditation, you're supposed to silence your mind, clear your mind. And granted, some people can do that in the turmoil. Kudos to those people. Some people can't. Some people have to step out of it. And I wouldn't call them, I'm not going to say either. I mean, I don't know if that's weak or strong. I guess, you know, everybody kind of deals with it differently depending on how you was raised, depending on how you deal with your problem solving. You get what I mean? But a big part of meditation is more of like clearing your mind, silencing your mind, and being able to get the message. And some people, when they're in that mess, they can't do it. It's just like moving. You get what I mean? And granted, you know, I get what you're saying, but I do believe that you can find yourself somewhere else, away from the madness. But everybody's different.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off. I think that finding yourself, that's not something you're going to do on a trip. You're not finding yourself on one trip. You need finding yourself. If you going through a life of turmoil, and I'm not trying to disagree with you, I think you could enlighten yourself on a trip.
I mean, yeah.
But finding yourself,
yeah.
Nah. I know a lot of people that say they found themselves and they still in the same stuff they was in before.
But you finding yourself, once you, like you said, it's not going to happen from one trip. You get what I mean?
I just think
it's not. It's a process.
And once again, the trip is not going to be.
You get what I mean?
It's not going to be the end or be all. So,
but it all depends on where that trip is. It all depends on whether that, like, what kind of trip it is. There's like retreats. That could be a trip.
Oh, that's totally different.
But that's
But that's also therapeutic. That actually has therapy.
But that's what I'm saying. Catching. So when I look at the whole catching flights, not catching feelings, I don't only think like, oh, this is somebody going, we about to party it up. We're not. It's actual different types of catching flights and no feelings. You can go on a retreat that's a long ass retreat where you actually focus on you. You get what I mean? Granted, you know,
you gotta afford that. You gotta have time. Once again, if your life is a turmoil, You got to be realistic about these things we're talking about here.
There's several prompts that you can find. There's journal prompts. There's several therapy things. I mean, YouTube University. If you're about it.
No,
you get what I mean.
We're talking about a trip. So
very true, but that's what I'm saying.
Sticking to the trip thing.
They can go on a cheap. You can go on a cheap trip, a very cheap trip. You get what I mean? It doesn't all have to be expensive.
Or you could just go to groups therapy right in your city.
You can,
and you could do these same things right in your city.
That's definitely,
and that's not including a trip.
No, that's definitely an option.
So, like,
you get what I'm
saying? I get what you're saying. I'm just saying there's options at home.
Oh, I don't think that there's no options.
No, I didn't say that.
You get what I mean? Yeah. So I definitely.
I don't think I didn't feel that way.
Yeah, there's definitely other options.
I'm saying that, regardless of the fact, depending on where you live, and because every place don't got the same things advocated to people. So what I'm trying to say is that taking trips and taking flights. Let's break it down to what the culture really saying about it. So we're talking about it on a spiritual level, in the sense of therapy, finding yourself. Let's talk about what this shit really is. So
the real shit of it is whack.
That's my point. So the real shit of it is whack.
The real shit of it is like like that part.
Let's get to that, because right now we're talking about those people that need real help. Like, no offense to y'all, we want y'all to get y'all help, and we want y'all to, and facts. You should get your help and do what you got to do to better yourself every day. We talking about the women and the men that they out here just living their best life and don't understand the price that they costing themselves.
Because it's a real price.
You got some chicks out here. Price. You got some chicks out here. In the summertime, they take 5 trips. Mm-hmm. Each trip they with a different dude.
Okay.
And don't understand why none of these homeboys want to cuff them.
But what does that have to do with the actual so what does that have to do with the actual the catch flight no feelings? Because if you're not catching feelings, they're not expecting anyone to cuff them.
The feelings are gonna come eventually. You know this. But you know this.
But when you're in that culture, the traveling allows you to escape that. It's gonna happen, but you're not gonna be surprised that all 5 of these dudes don't cuff you. You know what? I can't speak for every female. But I would think the obvious sense of you're catching flights, no feelings. No, but for real, I can't. But catching flights, no feelings is literally the only part that I think is whack about that is that you're about suppressing the feelings that you're going through. Because at the end of the day,
your feelings are gonna come out.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
That's why the no feelings thing is retarded.
Yeah,
so
that's the only part that's
now
whack.
In the opposite towards men, men that do this. It's momentary. Like, a guy that's doing the no flights, I'm gonna keep it real with you. 9 out of 10 times they scamming, or they really got a lot of money. So they just be like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go, bro. Let's go, girl.
But let's be honest. They still have shit that they're dealing with that they suppress.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
No.
So that whole
even a dog is dealing with something. Tired. Why you keep kicking me when you come in the house? You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck you keep kicking me when I come in? Why my milk is lukewarm, bruh?
Good night.
Why the water ain't brick cold, bruh? Where my bone at? You boning every night, but I can't get a bone?
But one thing you did say that I think that should be emphasized is the other options. How the group therapy. There's other ways to do this. You get? There's other ways.
But this is why I said it's so hard.
That definitely should be emphasized.
When people give me excuses, it's just excuses because there's answers. Like today, right? Yesterday, I went to the VA. I'm a veteran, y'all. Thank you for my service. I'm a veteran, right? So my sister told me I need to, look at some therapy. Not just because she thinks I need it. She just told me to do it. Mm-hmm. So I went into the VA. I did my blood work, etc. So I have a homeboy that work in there, and he was just like, I said, well, where's the psychology department? He was like, 14th floor. Went up to the 14th floor. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I was nervous as shit.
Oh, kudos though that you did it.
Shut up. She over here trying to make me sound soft.
No, it's good that
touching
you did
me.
That.
Stop touching me. You disgust me.
Whatever, nigga.
Yo, my eye was twitching how nervous I was. I went up there Yo, I can't really hear that great in my right ear like I used to.
Go ahead.
So
Nobody.
Shorty was talking, right? And I was sitting there like, yeah, I was so embarrassed. And they're just like, it's typical. Like everybody up here is like, this is what people do up on this floor. Psychology, therapists,
basically.
Psychiatric. This is what we do up here. Like,
Yeah.
Don't be nervous. They're not telling me this. This is what I'm telling myself in the head and I still can't get the picture. So I went up there and they said, they said, we're going to have somebody call you. You got 2 doctors you had a psychiatrist that you spoke to before, prior to years ago, and you had a therapist. They said, we're going to have somebody call you. So today the person called me and was like, all right, I got time for you at the end of the month. Do you want to do it in person or you want to do a Zoom? And I was like, I'll do the Zoom. That's how easy it is. I sat there, was nervous for no reason, and the help is there if you really want it. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not saying this to like, I'm saying that I was nervous seeking help, and the help is there. And you know, I have to thank my sister, because sometimes even if I might not feel like I need the help right now. I might have felt like I needed it 6 months ago. I might have felt like I needed it a year ago. But because she just said, yo, just go, you know, let's have a little talk. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it took the ego away, it took the pride away, and now it's just the human side. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of the times, everybody has this aura that's protecting them from actually getting help. So we go through these things where we say, we need this and we need that. Like when people go through something, sometimes they just want to spend money, i.e. trip. They might want to go to Cancun, jump in the water with their friends. But the same friends you're with, you're not talking about what your real problems is sometimes. You might give them a little peek. But they're like, girl, you're going to get over it. This dude ain't nothing. And it could be work. That's really the brunt of the force on you. Then you tell them about work. They just like, you know what? Girl, you know, just start looking for a new job, or, you know, it's like it's always an easy out. Necessarily, you might not want to leave because you don't want to start all over again. It's so many dynamics to this. So I'm trying to say, like, if you're looking at catching flights versus catching feelings as a way to escape life, you're not ever going to escape life. It's gonna come knocking on your door, and spending money on trips that I'm not saying they're not needed.
Like, if you can't afford them. Like, that's the only thing. Like, if you can't afford it,
that's,
you know, because that's really what it comes down to. Because in reality, like, it defeats the purpose, and you're not catching up to your bills and being out and about, because you come back to more stress. So it defeats so you go and you're like, woosah, I'm able to see this.
Can I say some funny stuff? Statistics.
Oh,
you
Lord.
know this already, right?
Yeah.
It's not favoring women. It's just not. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what I can say to help. But the statistics saying that y'all spend y'all money frivolously. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying all women are like this. I'm just saying the majority is. So the ones that don't spend their money frivolously, kudos to y'all. But the ones that do, like,
just reel it in a little bit.
She's saying a little bit. I'm saying a lot, because evictions, bankruptcy is majority women statistically. So it's just like, you know, if y'all need help or y'all going through something in life, it's nothing wrong with just seeking out the right people that can handle that. Because sometimes your friends can't handle that. She's a therapist.
I just feel
she's a therapist, y'all.
I just feel that, and that's why I'm not against not against the catching flights, but I am against, like, suppressing feelings. I am against. Go ahead.
I want you to say, keep it right there though. If y'all have a story and you want her advice on it, or you want my advice on it, we have an email in
I
our
am not a licensed therapist. I would just like to say.
No, she's not a licensed therapist.
therapist.
But she should have went to college for it.
Like, honestly. I should have got.
And I said this to you.
Yeah, he did.
Like, if she wanted to go to college for this, like, she's really have a skill at this.
Yeah.
She's a very good listener, and if you're going through something, you just want somebody else's opinion or outlook, you can hit me or her up in the email. And if you want us to talk about the story, like, give out the brief details, not a full detail, but a brief detail, we will welcomely do it on the video and give you our full on, besides the email we're going to send back.
Yeah.
And maybe a voice note in the email.
Basically, the email is in the description, so feel free to hit it up so you don't have to say it in the comments.
Exactly. But we will gladly, or individually, you can seek us out one-on-one in the email.
Yeah.
And we will go over it and give you our spill on it.
Basically.
And even maybe help you find services that could provide it. Because I feel like everybody needs therapy.
For real.
To a certain extent.
So
to get back to your point.
I'm not against the traveling or the catching flights. It's more of like when you try to suppress your feelings. Traveling, when you're going through something and you're traveling, this is a time that you should be using to kind of like open your mind up and look at the situation. You know, leaving a stress situation and not handling it, it only causes more stress on you. So it just pushes back your process. Like, you're not going to find yourself in one trip. You're not. And if this is something that you're doing to find yourself, this has to be a routine thing.
And what that becomes an addiction.
I mean, not even it is an addiction, but it's not a bad addiction. It's bad when now this routine thing is causing chaos in your life and chaos in your bills, and you're not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anything bad in having addicting of traveling, as long as your life is together.
If you're not in that top 25%,
you get what I'm
financially,
saying? I mean,
you gotta chill.
But there's also ways.
You gotta be smart about it.
Yeah,
save your money. Maybe you know,
or just
have a fun just for vacations.
Or travel smarter. You get what I mean? There's ways to get around that.
And don't let Instagram make you do stuff that ain't for you. Baby, if you don't make 5-star money, don't do 5-star stuff.
I mean, you could travel and it don't gotta be 5-star. I'm a vagabond.
I know, I know that, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Don't do. Oh yeah, basically.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, like, it's nothing with. If you want to travel every month, you can.
Would you backpack in Europe? Like just with a back? I'm just curious because
because I need more than 3 pairs of drawers.
I had looked up like how to.
I don't want to wash my clothes every time, like every day.
I wonder how they do. I was just curious because
they backpack with a lot of clothes though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You could backpack. I've never done it, so I was just asking. And being that you've been in a service, I just wonder if you would. I would
do it, but it wouldn't be backpacking because I have a big bag of luggage.
Okay.
The literal term backpack
is like a little ass backpack. Yeah.
But once again, those are. That means you gotta wash every day, like your clothes. Where you might be staying in a room. You might be.
Or hostel.
Not for nothing. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I ain't about that life, baby.
I don't know if
I'm all with the 5-star, and
that's why I asked you. Like,
I'm keeping a bug with you. I'm all with the 5-star, which means I'm not traveling unless I could do it right. And if I can't do it right, good night. Cause I ain't gonna be there.
I'm a vagabond. Some
people just want the experience.
I just want to get there, get into whatchamacallit. So that's what I mean. So why I was saying that is more if you plan to do this needs to be
like when I take a trip, I want my shit to look like a movie.
Oh, okay, you fancy?
Not that. It's not that. If because I'm not gonna spend $1,200 on a flight for $2 service.
Okay.
You feel me? And that's just me. So I didn't mean to skip over your point. Did you have a point that you just want to explain?
Nah, go ahead. Say your next thing. Mine was more of just like the positive of it. You know, I just wish, at first I thought, the crazy part is at first I thought this topic was really just geared to like choppies. That's what I thought. You get what I mean?
Anybody, man,
like, but in reality, it's like to everybody. You get what I mean? But that was the
so talk about the choppy part.
So like.
Let's talk about the choppies, yo. Let's talk about them skanks.
Why they gotta be skanks? Like,
I'm just being funny. I'm literally being funny. I'm just being funny, y'all.
He said that with some bass in his voice.
Let's talk about them hells.
But it was more of like, so what I was thinking about was I thought this was really the culture of where like, these girls that have like this fly me out culture and they're getting flown out by these different men or whatever the case is. But then when they come home, they're sleeping on an airbed and it being... and this like facade being pumped on Instagram, and now the younger kids or the younger females.
Talk about my story,
huh?
Talk about my story.
What story is your story? What story is yours?
Okay. Let me get the gay handshake going. My fault. Nothing wrong with that. Flamboyant hand.
There you go.
So, the shorty that wears the expensive clothes but still inside the fruit stand.
Oh, okay.
I know a couple joints like this. I'm not
Yeah.
talking in one. It's a few of y'all.
And that, yeah.
Like, you're doing all this for image. You out of town.
Mm-hmm.
You go here, you go there. But then you inside the fruit stand in the hood taking up produce.
Yeah.
Remember the story?
Yeah.
Remember the burglary story?
Yeah.
$14,000 of stuff they took in Williamsburg.
Oh, yeah.
But he said, I ain't gonna miss them toilet tissue.
He took the toilet paper. And that's so it wasn't only the chopping needles, it was also, I don't know what I would call them, the dope boys, the scammer boys, the boys that like they live with their mama.
The Zos?
The Zos, that's what you
I'm
call
just
them.
joking.
I don't know what
Sorry, Haitian people.
I don't know what you call them, but you know that when they on
Swiping, no swiping?
something, they scammers, whatever. When they on trips, they got the Bentleys, they got the what's another fancy car, a little Lamborghini or whatever the case. But when they come back, the Ferrari. But when they come back home, they're not riding nothing, and they're not even taking care of their child or any bills. The same thing. So it's just like it's just facade.
This shit nasty out here.
You get what I'm saying? It's like I thought it was just like this facade that's there, or whatever the case is. Where like, oh, let me go here, let me stunt. You know, no feelings, fuck that or whatever. But like your bills is jacked, your whole life is jacked up. Sit down.
Yo.
Sit down and get it right.
I got a lot of friends, man, that be doing shit for image, and they don't even be paying out for them. I just be like, you gotta sit down and relax, man.
Serious.
You gotta sit down and relax. You're doing things for the image, and the image ain't even getting you nowhere. Like, you're not even benefiting correctly.
You're gonna be, you suffer from that. Like I said, I lived a very reckless life. Where like, I was just like, oh, that'll be handled. When I come back, that'll be handled. And I definitely served a big consequence for that. There's definitely like the bounce back from it. Like, granted, I am not gonna lie, great experiences, but the bounce back like portion of that definitely was just like, all right, you gotta chill. Like, you have to calm down. I mean, I didn't go out trying to like, you know, have a whole image. I was not getting a Lamborghini, or I wasn't doing this kind of life where I looked like it was extravagant. That's just not me. But like the bounce back from that is real. So it's crazy to me, like this whole culture of like, oh, let's do this and let me put this facade on Instagram, and in reality, your life is in shambles.
I just be thinking like, you did all that for her or him or this or that. You did all that hustling for that one outfit. You did all that for that one trip, and then you back to the fruit stand.
Yeah.
Stealing.
Like,
and then you back from the trip and you back to eating the 4 chicken wings and pork fried rice. If you know what that is, people. Like, you back at Golden Corral. You back at Crystals. You back at the Waffle House.
These are cheap places?
Huh?
These are cheap places?
Waffle House really a good meal for like $10, $10, $12.
Wow. That's nice.
Golden Corral, I think it's a buffet. You probably get a whole meal in there for $14. It's a buffet.
What?
Yeah. Like, ain't no more steak for $2 for $3.50. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no Del Frisco. Now you back to the regular stuff. Like, you back to being who you are. And this is a past topic we talk about. Know your role.
And shut your mouth. It's just like how you see
it ain't about
some
stunting
of these,
sometimes.
even the flying out or whatever. How many times you see these girls like getting recorded or like, oh, whatever, just send me my confirmation number. And then the dude is just like, girl, you ain't got no flight. And they're out there just, they don't have nothing. They just pockets empty. Like.
And they make it sound like you're wrong. Nah, baby, you was wrong for going somewhere without this stranger.
And like, and you
have all these expectations.
And you got no money in your pocket. Sometimes, and like, it's just ridiculous. You just have to be able to just have your life together. Like, there's no reason why you should be out here flying or with a stranger and your stuff is not together. I see once again, I see the positive of it though. Not that part of the culture in getting yourself
Listen,
together.
I'm a dude that got took into a lot of vacations by women.
Oh.
And I love all of them. Deep down inside.
Yeah.
And guess what? I wasn't pushing them to say let's go on vacation. They actually wanted to do it. So I understand that angle of it. But at the end of the day, like, make it make sense.
Basically.
Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, you gonna do
Do
whatever
what you
you
wanna
want to
do,
do.
exactly.
You do whatever you're gonna do. Can't nobody
But
tell
what
you
comes
nothing or
around-
whatever the case is. But always understand the consequence of not moving correctly in your life or not making the right decisions for yourself in your whole, circumstances. There's always gonna be consequences.
and everything has an expiration date.
And that's
Everything
really
has
it.
an expiration date.
It does. So you always want to make sure, like, your stuff is together. Unless you plan on never returning to where you're going to be at. Unless you plan on never returning to where you're going. I mean, then at that point, you do whatever you want to do. And you ain't going to have no consequences until, you come back. You know what I'm saying? Say you move to Europe for
man,
forever.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little sasson on your, you know what I mean? Little sasson on your meal, you know what I mean?
You move to Europe forever and you got to worry about your bills in the United States.
But that's once again,
Like-
that's the exception to the
Yeah,
rule.
basically.
That is not the majority.
That's not everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody ain't gonna be able to do that.
If your trap ain't catching us, then you a rap. It's a rap.
If you're what?
If your trap
What if it's
ain't
just what if
catching
it's
that-
your own trip? What if it's nobody? I'm talking a scenario where ain't nobody else like paying for it. This is your own trip.
have fun.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not that many women that like taking trips by themselves.
I mean, but people, even if they don't, there's a whole bunch of like solo trip groups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they do this or whatever the case
Yeah,
is.
and they be fucking.
Yeah, but the point of it is like they go out on their own.
Yeah. They be
Like
fucking.
everybody be fucking, but like they go out on their own or
They
whatever.
just be
the
out
case
there
is.
just like, did you bring your
And some
HIV
people-
negative test? Did
Good
you bring
night.
all your
Good
sexually
night.
transmitted disease tests?
Good
All
night.
negative? Yup.
People go away and don't be fucking.
And they just be out there just shooting up the clubs. Like,
Some don't. Some actually go and they go on trips.
what's that song from Nine? They shooting.
Oh, Major, look.
They out there just
I'm telling you.
vagina with no bulletproof vest.
I can't. But okay. Okay. Wow.
It's graphic out there, man.
Wow. But for those who are trying to keep their bills together, understand there's different ways to still travel and keep it in a budget. You know what? I had read and I looked up ways on how to do this. And one way that popped up is, and it sounds silly, but it's like going to a bar or a pub out of your neighborhood. Maybe, if you live in Manhattan, going somewhere in Brooklyn or Queens. If that's one way where you meet different people.
If you live in
Different-
LA, you might want to don't take a trip to Compton. Maybe
Good night.
Long Beach. You know what I'm saying?
Something like that.
Like
where
that,
it's
you
a
know what I'm
different-
saying?
It's a different surrounding. It's different people. You can talk to different people from
If
different
you're in Miami,
places.
take a trip to Fort Lauderdale.
Exactly. You get what I mean? Something different. You could go to Noble for real.
If you in DC, take a trip to
there's a whole bunch
Alexandria,
of-
Virginia. It's right across the bridge.
There's a whole bunch of like networking groups that you can like go look at for free, where they meet up together and they do activities where you're still once again meeting different people, different cultures, different perspectives. And it's like a story that you hear from all these people, which is kind of like you getting a new perspective on life. You seeing things differently, which is one of the things that you get from like traveling. You get what I mean? Until you can actually get your ducats together and get out of the States or get out of wherever you at.
Listen, man, ain't nothing wrong with being domesticated.
Nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes you just might need to just hop in a whip and just go to another state.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Go to Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
The water ain't that clear, but
You can drive a little further than Jersey if you want to.
go to Atlantic City.
Basically.
You know what I mean? Just spend a night in the casino, get free, lick it up, and just keep hitting that coin machine heavy.
All right. Go to the park.
Find yourself.
Go to the park. Central Park is really beautiful to just sit in the trees. I'm a big person of
But wherever
sitting in
you
the
live,
trees.
if you don't live in New York,
Go for a hike. You can, there's several beautiful places. You just have to go, go on the website,
Work
look
out.
up. Yeah, another way of like kind of getting your chi. Nothing against traveling, but for those who don't have it, ways to kind of get some of the same results you're gonna get from traveling is very possible. You get what I mean? Look it up. Look up best things to do, best free things to do in your city, in your neighborhood, and a whole bunch of things to pop up.
Try 15.
For real, yeah. You get what I mean?
That way you got, if you don't like the first 5, you're going to like one of the next 10.
Basically, So that's really it. And don't succumb to this culture. You got a whole bunch of lost leading the lost. Dead serious.
It's like Stevie Wonder is giving us directions.
Oh, Lord. Why you got to talk about Stevie?
I love Stevie Wonder. He's a musical legend, but I ain't going to ask him for directions.
All right. All right. Okay.
He could direct me. He could help me learn, teach me some music, but definitely. I ain't going to ask him where the Cater at, where they say it's greater.
I'm telling you. I can't. I said, I'm telling you. I can't at all.
What?
And look up different hobbies. Things that force you out your comfort zone.
What's another thing I'm going to say? Always striving to better yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't like how your life is, figure out what's going to make your life better. That might make you make more money, might make you smarter, might give you another talent, might give you another trade. Figure out something so where you could always be growing. You should never be stagnant. Never.
Get a journal. Get a journal.
I told her that.
I got one.
So I told her to write some stuff.
I got one. I'll be writing.
She got some nightmares.
I don't have nightmares. I have regular dreams. But I have a journal. Journal writing is definitely great.
I had a nightmare somebody shot me the other night.
Good night. You should. You know what though? You should look up what getting shot.
That's what you're here for.
All right, I'll look it up.
See what I'm saying? I told you. She over here. You should look it up. You should think you my friend. You're supposed to look it up. Get on it. Where's Google? No, don't use Google.
I'm using Google. Ain't nothing wrong with Google. Got some good, got some bad, got some ugly, got some pretty.
More so bad than ugly. Bad, ugly, and indifferent.
Lord.
Well, I hope y'all really enjoyed this topic. Catching flights.
No, and catching flights, no feelings, but catching up to them bills as well. Like that's the basic of what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Catch up. If you gonna catch up.
Don't trade. Don't listen. Don't be a fly homeless person.
For real.
I'd rather look broke, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm warm at night. My covers is clean. My refrigerator is stocked.
I'm at peace.
Pick and choose and struggle. Like,
serious. No, that's
don't
serious.
Be fly homeless.
And
don't be going to grocery stores and stealing shit. That's just crazy to me.
All right. Let us know what you think about this. Let us know what you think about this topic. Definitely leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you catch flights, no feelings. Tell us if you about it or if you're not about it. Definitely subscribe. Remember to click on the subscribe, click on that notification bell so you know when we drop drop a video. Comment.
And honestly, we're gonna be starting a new segment called A Talk with Jay and A Talk with C.
Yes, we are.
Which we're gonna, things that bother us during the week or during the, whatever we feel. We're gonna give y'all a little taste of us individually. I can't wait to hear us.
Oh man. Anyway, thank you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.